Welcome to Hollywood Star Celebrity. Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane with the legendary action classic Die Hard, 1988. Ever wondered what the iconic cast looks like in 2025? Stay tuned as we reveal Die Hard cast, then and now. Released in 1988, Die Hard redefined the action genre with its gripping story, explosive stunts, and Bruce Willis's unforgettable performance as John McClane. This high-octane thriller, set in the Nakatomi Plaza, follows McClane as he battles ruthless terrorists led by the cunning Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman. Over the years, it has become a Christmas classic and one of the greatest action films of all time. Bruce Willis, John McClane. In Die Hard, 1988, Bruce Willis stars as John McClane, a tough-as-nails NYPD cop with a sharp wit and an even sharper aim. Thrust into a high-stakes hostage situation at Nakatomi Plaza, McClane single-handedly takes on a group of terrorists led by Hans Gruber, Alan Rickman, proving that one man can make all the difference. Back in 1988, Willis was 33 years old, bringing the perfect mix of grit and charm to the role. Now, in 2025, at 70 years old, the legacy of his performance still stands tall as one of the greatest action heroes in film history. Reginald VelJohnson, Sgt.Al Powell. As Sgt.Al Powell, Reginald VelJohnson brought heart and humor to the role of the compassionate LAPD officer who becomes John McClane's lifeline over a radio. Stuck on desk duty and haunted by a past tragedy, Powell proves he's still got what it takes when he helps McClane take down the bad guys from the outside. In 1988, VelJohnson was 36 years old, delivering a performance that made Powell one of the most beloved movie cops. Now, in 2025, at 72 years old, his portrayal remains a fan favorite, reminding us that sometimes heroes aren't just the ones inside the building. Paul Gleason, Dwayne T. Robinson. In Die Hard, 1988, Paul Gleason, then 49 years old, played Deputy Police Chief Dwayne T. Robinson, an arrogant and by-the-book bureaucrat who constantly clashes with John McClane and undermines the crisis response. More concerned with procedure than effectiveness, Robinson dismisses McClane's heroics and repeatedly makes poor tactical decisions, adding to the chaos. His character serves as both comic relief and a frustrating obstacle. If he were alive today in 2025, Gleason would be 86 years old. Devereaux White, Argyle. At just 23 years old, Devereaux White brought charm and energy to the role of Argyle, the smooth-talking limo driver who becomes an unexpected hero. Young, street-smart, and always ready with a joke, he spends most of the chaos in the Nakatomi Plaza garage, blissfully unaware of the unfolding danger, until he steps up when it counts. Argyle's mix of humor and bravery made him a fan favorite. Now, in 2025, White is 59, but his character's cool, carefree spirit remains timeless. Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber. In 1988, at 42 years old, Alan Rickman brought chilling sophistication to the role of Hans Gruber, a cunning and ruthless mastermind with a taste for precision and luxury. With his sharp intellect, calm menace, and dry wit, he redefined the on-screen villain, making Gruber as captivating as he was dangerous. His calculated poise and effortless command of every scene made him unforgettable. Now, in 2025, Rickman would have been 79, a testament to the timeless impact of his performance, which still sets the gold standard for cinematic antagonists. Bonnie Brdelia, Holly Gennaro McClane. In 1988, at 40 years old, Bonnie Bedelia brought strength and grace to Holly Gennaro McClane, a sharp, independent professional caught between corporate ambition and personal sacrifice. She wasn't just the hero's wife, she was a force in her own right, standing her ground against both terrorists and the complications of her marriage. Her presence gave the story its heart, making the stakes feel personal. Now, in 2025, at 77, her portrayal remains a standout example of a layered female lead in action cinema, proving that resilience and wit never go out of style. William Atherton, Thornburg. In 1988, at 41, William Atherton embodied sleazy ambition as Richard Thornburg, the smug, opportunistic reporter who saw a hostage crisis as his big break. His relentless pursuit of a story, no matter the cost, made him just as infuriating as the villains, proving that not all threats come with a gun. Atherton played him with that signature blend of arrogance and weaselly charm, making Thornburg a character audiences love to hate. Now, in 2025, at 78, his performance still serves as a perfect example of media-driven selfishness, a role as relevant today as it was back then. Hart Bochner, Ellis. In Die Hard, 1988, Hart Bochner, then 32 years old, played Harry Ellis, the smug, coked-up Nakatomi executive who foolishly tries to negotiate with Hans Gruber, thinking his corporate charm can outwit terrorists. His arrogance and greed lead to his downfall, making him one of the film's most memorably misguided characters. Now, in 2025, Bochner is 68, but his portrayal of Ellis remains an iconic example of 1980s corporate excess meeting brutal reality. James Shigeta, Takagi. At 59 years old, James Shigeta brought grace and quiet strength to his role as Joseph Takagi, the respected Nakatomi Corporation executive who values his employees and stands firm even in the face of danger. His calm demeanor contrasts sharply with the chaos around him, making his tragic fate at the hands of Hans Gruber all the more impactful. Though Shigeta passed away in 2014, his performance remains a defining moment in a career filled with dignity and class. In 2025, he would have been 95, and his legacy as a pioneering Asian-American actor continues to be celebrated. Alexander Godunov, Karl. At 38, Alexander Godunov brought a menacing elegance to Karl, the ruthless, revenge-driven enforcer whose towering presence and relentless pursuit of John McClane made him one of the film's most formidable villains. A former ballet dancer, his physicality added a unique intensity to the role, making Karl's brutal resilience unforgettable. Godunov's life was cut short in 1995, but his performance remains iconic. In 2025, he would have been 75, a reminder of the rare blend of grace and brutality he brought to the screen. Andreas Wisniewski, Tony. In Die Hard, 1988, Andreas Wisniewski played Tony, one of Hans Gruber's sharp but overconfident henchmen. At 29 years old, Tony was a ruthless yet slightly reckless enforcer, meeting his end early when John McClane outmaneuvered him in a brutal fight, stealing his machine gun and famously sending his corpse down an elevator shaft with a taunting message. Now, in 2025, Wisniewski is 65, long past his action figure days, but his role remains iconic in the legacy of classic action villains. Clarence Gilyard Jr., Theo. In 1988, Clarence Gilyard Jr. brought sharp wit and cocky energy to Theo, the tech-savvy hacker with a sarcastic streak. At 32, he wasn't just the brains behind cracking the vault. He was the crew's comic relief, tossing out quips even as chaos unfolded. Unlike most of Gruber's men, Theo didn't go out in a hail of bullets. He was simply knocked out, leaving his fate ambiguous. Sadly, Gilyard passed away in 2022 at 66, but his performance remains a standout, proving that in a gang of ruthless thieves, sometimes the smartest guy in the room is also the most entertaining. Joseph Plewa, Alexander. Joseph Plewa played Alexander, one of Hans Gruber's silent but deadly enforcers, exuding menace without saying much. A steady presence in the background, he was a soldier through and through, ruthless, efficient, and ultimately outmatched by John McClane's guerrilla tactics. His fate, a brutal end like most of his crew. While Plewa's exact birth date remains elusive, his contribution to the film's roster of villains is undeniable. Now, in 2025, his role lives on as part of the gritty, action-packed legacy that made the story so unforgettable. Lorenzo Caccialanza, Marco. Marco, played by Lorenzo Caccialanza in Die Hard, 1988, was one of Hans Gruber's ruthless henchmen, tasked with securing Nakatomi Plaza during the heist. With his sharp features and imposing 6 feet 1 inch frame, Marco stood out as a tough enforcer, though he met a brutal end at the hands of John McClane, famously getting shot and crashing through a table. In 1988, Caccialanza was 33 years old, bringing youthful intensity to the role. Now, in 2025, he is 70, his legacy in action cinema is still cemented by this classic performance. Al Leong, Uli. Uli, played by the legendary Al Leong, was the silent but deadly henchman with a fierce mustache and lightning-fast reflexes. Known for his martial arts prowess and scene-stealing presence, he brought a unique, almost playful menace to the group of terrorists. Who could forget him casually snacking on a candy bar mid-heist? Though he met his end like many of Gruber's crew, his role remains iconic in action movie history. Back in 1988, Leong was 36, delivering peak intensity. Now, in 2025, at 72, his influence on action cinema and stunt choreography still looms large. That's a wrap on the Die Hard cast. Then and now, which transformation surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Hollywood Star Celebrity for more amazing celebrity updates. See you in the next video.